Joe Rogan recently touched on something deeply unsettling while discussing Diddy's legal situation, and according to many listeners, what he said may have opened a door most people would rather keep closed. The growing public discussion suggests that whatever is happening does not simply stop with one individual. Instead, it appears to point upward toward a much larger power structure that rarely gets questioned. In this video, we're breaking down that structure, starting with Diddy and moving upward toward the names that almost never come under scrutiny. At the top of this hierarchy, people are beginning to ask who truly holds influence, why certain figures seem untouchable, and why their names are consistently absent from serious public interrogation. Some viewers believe that by even raising these questions publicly, Joe Rogan may have stepped into uncomfortable territory.
In jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get
Think he's
hit up.
insane though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another Epstein.
there's
It's another
murder
Ghislaine Maxwell, where
there's
somebody
murder
gets indicted
cases.
and nobody else indicted for trafficking kids to
Right.
no
to,
one.
to no one. Right. We're like, what is the next crazy thing that's going to explode in the news? Is Bill Clinton's going to have an OnlyFans? Like, what is going to happen? What is the next thing that's going to make us all go, what the f-? Like, what the f is going on?
It's coming.
Like,
You know it's
how
coming.
many guys were on video saying, ain't no party like a Diddy party? How many people like openly talked about being there?
LeBron?
Yeah, how Ashton Kutcher, all these people. Like, you guys all went, you didn't see nothing?
The idea circulating online is that some topics are not just controversial, but actively discouraged from being discussed openly. And according to those reactions, what follows may force people to rethink how power actually works in entertainment and media. While Sean Combs, better known as Diddy, currently sits in jail awaiting trial, many assume the story begins and ends with him. But that assumption is exactly what some commentators are challenging. Recent podcast discussions and online breakdowns suggest that the visible headlines may only represent the lowest layer of a much deeper system. The connections being discussed allegedly stretch far beyond individual misconduct and into a broader network of influence touching multiple corners of American power. That same podcast conversation reignited attention because it framed the issue less as a single scandal and more as a recurring pattern. According to this framing, entertainment moguls, financiers, and corporate power brokers often operate within networks that rarely face collective accountability. The suggestion is not that these connections are proven facts, but that the structure itself raises questions worth examining. Before any of that can be understood, people argue it's important to look at what Diddy is accused of, at least as it's being publicly alleged. Federal prosecutors claim he used his influence and resources to coerce individuals into disturbing situations. Among the allegations discussed online are private gatherings sometimes referred to as freak-offs, where attendees were allegedly placed in compromised positions, sometimes without full awareness of what was happening. Public reporting indicates that more than 100 individuals have come forward with accusations connected to Diddy's alleged activities, including claims involving minors. These are serious allegations and remain part of ongoing legal processes. Attention intensified further after 50 Cent released his Netflix documentary, The Reckoning, which reignited discussion around the case. The documentary did not claim to resolve the issue, but it added momentum to a conversation many believe was being avoided. What many viewers focus on, however, is the growing belief that Diddy may not have been acting alone. This is where Rogan's commentary resonated most. During one episode, he began drawing parallels between Diddy's situation and Jeffrey Epstein's case. The similarities, at least structurally, were hard for some listeners to ignore. In both situations, public indictments occurred, yet broader accountability seemed limited. Rogan pointed out a pattern that continues to unsettle people. Individuals are charged with trafficking, yet official records rarely clarify who the beneficiaries were. Epstein's case raised that question. So did the conviction of Ghislaine Maxwell. In both situations, public outcomes left many feeling key pieces were missing. To critics, this pattern suggests that those at the top of the pyramid often remain protected, while those below absorb the consequences. The discussion then shifted towards celebrities who openly acknowledged attending Diddy's parties in the past. Names like LeBron James and Ashton Kutcher were mentioned, not as accusations, but as examples of how normalized those environments once appeared. Rogan's question, as many listeners interpreted it, was simple but uncomfortable. How could so many people be present and claim to have seen nothing? Online reactions argue that prolonged silence tends to raise more questions than answers. From there, the conversation moved upward toward corporate power. Some commentators describe Diddy as a powerful figure within his own circle, but not necessarily the highest authority. In this framing, Universal Music Group becomes central. Its chief executive, Lucian Grange, is frequently cited in public discussions as one of the most influential figures in the global music industry. Online analysts often reference a lawsuit involving an artist known as Lil Rod, where Grange's name reportedly appeared. The claim circulating is not that guilt has been established, but that the lawsuit raises questions about how major labels allegedly provide infrastructure and protection for powerful figures. According to this perspective, these corporations are not just businesses, but gatekeepers that shape what becomes public knowledge. Documents discussed online allege that Grange was aware of and present at certain gatherings hosted by Diddy. These claims remain allegations, but they have fueled intense debate.
These words would come out my mouth, but Candace Owens is onto something, and that did not feel comfortable at all. So Candace says the reason mainstream news is not picking up this lawsuit, is not paying attention to Diddy at all, is because of this man right here, Lucian Grange. He is one of the most powerful men in Hollywood and music. And he been up in Diddy's room. So this man right here is Sir Lucian Charles Grange. He's been the CEO of Universal Music Group since 2010, so you know he done seen some shit. So I had to go to the damn documents. I had to see if this man was actually named, and he is. As you can see, it says Lucian Charles Grange, and it also says Universal Music Group. On top of that, it says Ethiopia. I cannot fuck up her last name. I refuse to. But she was also a big person in Universal Music Group. And then Christina Coramham, Lord forgive, but she was like Diddy's second hand.
Some legal filings reportedly suggest that questionable behavior occurred at these events, including the presence of underage individuals. Again, these are claims outlined in legal documents, not proven conclusions. Commentators like Candace Owens have questioned why mainstream outlets have largely avoided these angles. Her argument is that individuals at this level wield enormous influence over media narratives. The lawsuit also references other Universal Music Group executives, alleging awareness without intervention. The broader theory suggests that when billions of dollars are involved, accountability becomes selective. This is also why many people ask why the story never fully exploded across outlets like CNN or Fox News. The belief circulating is that powerful figures don't just influence industries, they influence narratives. When it comes to Diddy's inner circle, one name repeatedly resurfaces: Jay-Z. For years, Diddy and Jay-Z have been portrayed as more than collaborators. Diddy once said that only two people on earth are allowed to call him by his real name, Sean, his mother, and Jay-Z. That detail alone has fueled speculation about how close their relationship truly was behind the scenes.
Only one person.
Oh, go on.
And I call him Sean. That's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean.
He's
And
the only person who's Sean approved.
There's not a single person that
Outside of family?
That should be, no, outside of my mother.
Okay, just
That should be calling me, they should be calling me Sean.
This is where Jaguar Wright enters the discussion. Known for speaking openly about industry politics, she appeared in a high-profile interview with Piers Morgan and made a series of claims involving both Jay-Z and Diddy. What drew even more attention was what followed. Viewers noticed that the full interview became difficult to find shortly after airing, raising questions about why it seemed to be buried. During that interview, Wright asked why Jay-Z could sit down with Gayle King on national television and never be directly asked about long-standing industry rumors. She described both men as figures whose influence, in her view, has shaped and pressured the industry for decades. That led to another question circulating publicly. Why would Jay-Z's personal attorney reportedly become involved in matters connected to Diddy's legal situation? Jay-Z has never publicly addressed these discussions. In today's media climate, many interpret silence not as neutrality, but as strategy. Joe Rogan has often commented that powerful individuals rarely handle controversy directly. Instead, they rely on elite legal teams and fixers whose job is to manage exposure. Names like Alan Grubman are frequently mentioned. He represents many of the biggest names in entertainment and is often described as connective tissue within the industry. Figures like him understand where stories begin and where they end. They draft non-disclosure agreements and help keep sensitive matters out of public view for decades. According to this perspective, information becomes the most valuable currency. Those who control it decide which stories move forward and which disappear. This idea frequently arises when Rogan speaks with former intelligence professionals, drawing comparisons between Diddy's alleged private gatherings and Epstein's island operation. The theory discussed is not that Diddy independently created an elaborate system. Instead, some believe he functioned as a facilitator, someone positioned to host, organize, and manage environments for people who needed discretion. That leads to a troubling question. If recordings were being made as alleged, who were they for? Speculation online suggests the existence of unseen participants, often referred to as John Does, politicians, executives, and global elites who allegedly enjoyed these spaces while remaining invisible in public records. Claims circulate that there may be thousands of hours of footage connected not only to Diddy's events, but potentially overlapping with material linked to Epstein. During a conversation on Rogan's podcast, Elon Musk hinted that some political figures receive intense financial backing because donors fear what might surface if power shifts. In that context, names like Reid Hoffman and Bill Gates have been mentioned in public discussion, not as accusations, but as examples of how anxiety around potential revelations might exist at the highest levels. This is what some describe as the facilitator model. Figures like Epstein and Diddy are portrayed not as ultimate masterminds, but as operators who created controlled environments, places where powerful people could act without scrutiny. According to this theory, these environments functioned as honeypots designed for observation and long-term leverage.
You have these guys, like a Jeffrey Epstein type guy, who works with the elite of the elite clientele. It's all movie stars, big-time politicians, world leaders, scientists, Nobel Prize winners, and they all meet together and have fascinating conversations and cocktails, and there's beautiful girls everywhere. Of course. What a great idea.
Right.
And if you're naive and you don't understand honeypots.
Here's the quote from Maria Farmer, who was one of the accusers from what was inside the house in New York.
Okay, she said, there were monitors inside this cabinet. I looked on the cameras and I saw toilet, bed, toilet. She said, visibly spooked. Like, I'm never going to use the restroom here and I'm never going to sleep here. You know what I mean? It was very obvious that they were like monitoring private moments. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Maria Farmer was the one who worked at Epstein's office in New York, I think.
And this was the house, Jamie?
Yeah, I was looking up stuff on the house. That was like what they
I
found.
wonder if the
in
house still
too.
has fucking cameras in it somewhere that they haven't found yet.
They definitely, don't know.
Yeah, you'd have to scan the shit out of that house. You'd have to take the walls apart. There's probably listening devices inside the walls. Like, who knows? If this was like really an intelligence operation, yeah, they probably had that house fully wired.
Following federal raids on Diddy's properties, reports circulated that investigators seized an enormous amount of recorded material. Commentators like Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal have suggested this footage would not merely be blackmail, but insurance, a way to maintain control without issuing direct threats. Questions intensified after Megyn Kelly pointed out that Diddy has not been charged in connection with widely circulated footage showing him assaulting Cassie Ventura. For many viewers, that footage felt undeniable, so its absence from the charges raised deeper questions about what remains protected. Who controls the recordings now? What exactly is on them? And what would happen if powerful figures were suddenly exposed doing things they never expected to become public? This idea resurfaced again after viewers noticed strategic imagery in 50 Cent's documentary. During sections discussing Diddy's parties, images of Bishop T.D. Jakes appeared. Many viewers did not believe this was accidental. When Bishop Jakes was later questioned publicly, his response fueled further debate. Instead of offering a clear denial, he dismissed the question and spoke about repentance and forgiveness. To many, that sounded evasive rather than reassuring. Jaguar Wright responded by suggesting that if a figure like Bishop Jakes was present in those circles, it would likely be for access or money. She described these gatherings as leverage zones. Gene Deal echoed similar concerns and hinted that recordings could eventually surface, shifting the discussion from speculation to proof. Some researchers now map all of this as a pyramid. At the lower level sit public-facing celebrities like Jay-Z and Beyoncé, powerful but still operating within constraints. Above them are gatekeepers, executives, and media power brokers who control access to fame and opportunity. At the very top, according to this theory, is an unseen layer connecting entertainment, politics, technology, and religion. This idea is not new. Dave Chappelle spoke about it years ago. He described the entertainment industry as a system built on control. When asked why he did not simply move his show elsewhere, he said it would be like leaving one plantation for another. Different owner, same chains. If someone as successful as Dave Chappelle felt boxed in by the system, what does that say about everyone else trying to survive within it? After examining all of this, from alleged recorded leverage to corporate gatekeeping, from inner circle silence to repeated Epstein parallels, the question remains open. Are these unrelated events colliding by coincidence, or are people finally seeing cracks in something far larger than they realized? That conversation is unfolding right now. Share what you think in the comments. Stay curious, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time.